nursing assistant.
I'm scared telling the story.
Get him away! There's nobody.
As I pulled the door open, it smelled like death.
I saw the black shadow person. It reaches right into where his spine was.
So sorry about your mother, Ronald.
Who told you this happened?
We did.
God.
The face was shriveled up. It was dead.
I am a mess.
He's not responding.
I am not knowing what to do. And now somebody might die.
We all are dead, Ron.
He said, we're all dead. I thought I was dead too, and that scared the living hell out of me.
In an old, isolated psychiatric hospital somewhere on the American Eastern Seaboard, hairdresser Ron Koval begins his day.
I would get a lot of pleasure out of helping these people, but because there's nobody else to help them. They're lost. They have nobody. So it's different than if you're a hairdresser on the outside and someone comes in with a picture and, yeah, I want this done, where these people are just happy just to have somebody there and taking care of them. So that's what I enjoyed the most, and I was willing to do that, and I really enjoyed going every morning. The house was built in the late 1800s. When I worked at the facility, it wasn't completely full. Some wards had been shut down. As you can see, it's deteriorating. It was starting to crumble.
Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Got Mary for you here.
How are we doing today, Mary?
Very well, thank you.
Good. The usual?
Sure.
Not everybody would want to work in a psychiatric hospital. What's that like?
You have to keep your eyes open. Sometimes things can change when you least expect it, you know. And sometimes these patients, even though you think they're your friends, can turn on you very easily. Fights break out, people get hurt, and that's when it gets scary.
Ron will soon have reason to wonder if the old institution hides things more scary and more dangerous than the occasional violent patient.
I'm hearing this noise from next door, and I'm going, what in the hell is that? You could hear it, boom. And then it came repetitive. Not just one, not just two, like four. Then boom, 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 one after another, louder and louder and louder and louder and louder.
You can't tell me you didn't hear that. Those noises next door?
There ain't nothing next door. That room hasn't been used for years.
Can you watch Mary for me?
The hospital itself, they're constantly repairing things, patching up holes in the walls. On rainstorms, rain will come in certain places, they would have to fix that. It was always under constant repair.
Ron wonders if there are workers in the next room.
The door started to turn, but it wouldn't turn all the way. The sounds was like faint, whispering people talking. This was a muffled sound, but a lot of them. I knew it was voices, but I couldn't make out exactly what they were saying.
Hello? Hello?
This seems totally so confusing to me, I can't figure it out. What's going on?
You look like you've seen a ghost, Ron.
What's in there?
That's the morgue. They used to do the autopsies in there.
She said, very calmly, she goes, oh, that was the morgue. I said, you're kidding me. She said, no. The doctors in there would do the autopsies on the bodies and that. Wall that was to the hair salon. It was a makeshift wall, like partition type wall. Because I looked up to the ceiling and I see pipes going across, and in the hair salon, they had a drop ceiling. So then I said to myself, all this time I've been working in a morgue. Then I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to get really scared and nervous what's going on.
So sorry about your mother, Ronald.
I haven't told anyone at the hospital about my mother's passing. There's no way that patient could have known.
Who told you this happened?
They did.
Sorry.
That's when it got really scary.
Oh my God!
I looked down and it wasn't her.
Are you not seeing this?
There was actually a corpse there. It was a dead body.
It's so cold.
Oh my God.
I've never been that scared in my life.
In an old, remote psychiatric hospital, hairdresser Ron Koval
You can't tell me you didn't hear that.
Or what?
hears strange noises emanating from what used to be the morgue next door.
The sounds was like faint, whispering people talking. Then I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to get really scared and nervous what's going on.
So sorry about your mother, Ronald.
Who told you this happened?
They did.
Then he sees things beyond rational explanation.
Oh my God!
The face was shriveled up, it was dead, the eyes were gone. The fear was so great, it just overwhelms you, it just takes you like boom.
It's so cold.
When Ron sees the corpse in his hands as he's cutting the hair, what's happening is that he's actually picking up on events that have happened in the space. This place was a morgue. And I think what has gone on here is the fact that he's picking up things that have occurred as events in that location.
Are you not seeing this?
What, you mean Mary?
I looked back again and the girl was back. And I'm going, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell's going on?
You okay, Ron?
Yeah. It's okay.
I got done with her and finished her up as quickly as I could and got her out and left. That was it. I cleaned up as fast as I can and got myself out of there. I wasn't going crazy. I was fine. There was more going on there than what meets the eye. When you don't know something, that's the greatest fear you can possibly have, because you don't know. You just stand there dumbfounded. You don't know what's going on.
Dr. Roberts, the cafeteria. Dr. Roberts.
At the time, I didn't believe in the paranormal or ghosts or anything in that manner. But now I did. And now things are starting to get more real. And so, as scared as I was, and I was frightened, it just drew me more into it. To find out what is going on. Well, little did I know at that time, that was just the beginning of the events that were going to occur.
Hey, Rod. Hey, you got a second?
Sure.
So I kept it to myself. I didn't tell anybody. Because you're in a psychiatric hospital, and it's kind of weird to tell them that, hey, I'm hearing voices, I'm seeing things, you know. You don't want to think you're crazy.
You okay?
Sure.
Yeah?
Although keeping the strange events a secret from staff, Ron decides to reach out to a friend.
Later on that day, I called a friend of mine who is a priest and told him about the incident.
Hey,
How are you?
strangest thing happened. I was just cutting her hair, and I swear I looked over and I seen a ghost. I don't know, and then I looked over and she was in the chair.
Really?
And then she was gone, and I just can't explain it. I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing these things. It scared the shit out of me.
Of course it would. I have something that should help.
Okay, I hope so.
I can come down there now if you want.
Okay, see you in a bit.
Later that same day, his priest friend pays him a visit.
He gave me a small satchel, and there were 4 bottles of holy water. And I asked him, I said, what am I supposed to do with this? He says, you don't throw it around the room or anything. He says, every day you drink some of it. It'll go through your system, in your bloodstream, and stay with you. I started drinking the holy water every day. I really thought the holy water was going to protect me, and it was working. But as time went on, I was wrong.
Events begin to escalate during a fierce winter storm that shuts down roads in and out of the isolated hospital.
What I did is I went and made plans to spend the night there. So on the ward I was on, they had a storage area where they would keep, you know, roll-out beds and things. So what I did is I went in there, took out one of the roll-out beds, got myself a pillow, a blanket, everything I would need. This is where I'm spending the night. And you hear the wind blowing and the blizzard and everything coming around.
With his holy water close at hand, Ron settles in for the night. It would seem that even that which was supposed to protect him is not beyond the influence of the strong forces at work.
I didn't know what to do. I was lost for what to do. You could feel a chill come over. It was getting cold.
Ron follows the chill in the air.
As I came to the wall, it was just bitterly cold. On the calendar, it said December 21st, 1917. It scared me, but it also got my adrenaline going and made me wonder what was really going on here. I could hear somebody whistling. Then I heard a gurney coming down the hallway. I looked both ways down the hallway, and that was it. There was nobody there.
The strange sounds he heard earlier fill the hallway as he approaches the door to the old morgue, which this time is open.
It just pulled me in, and so I had to find out what it was, what was going on. As I pulled the door open slightly, the smell started to seep out. And it was gross. It was disgusting. It smelled like death. There were bodies lying on the floor, covered with blankets.
I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald.
The fear was overwhelming. Totally overwhelming. It's like you're going into a different dimension. I sensed it when I got in there. You walk into a different dimension.
Please, please, please tell me what's happening, please. Please, please tell me what's happening.
In an isolated, run-down psychiatric hospital, hairdresser Ron Koval experiences a series of unnerving events.
You look like you've seen a ghost, Ron.
What's in there?
That's the morgue. They used to do the autopsies in there.
And now has been drawn back to the morgue, abandoned years earlier.
It just pulled me in, and so I had to find out what it was, what was going on. As I pulled the door open slightly, the smell started to seep out. It smelled like death.
He discovers the room holds more than the smell of death.
I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald. I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald. I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald.
Oh my God, please.
They're starting to move. They're starting to get up. The ones lying on the floor are starting to arise. You hear the sound. It's like ice cracking.
Please tell me what's happening, please. Please, please tell me.
Their lips were blue. The fingertips were blackened. The tips of their nose were blackened from frostbite. It's just like looking at a frozen piece of meat.
Please, please tell me what's happening. Tell me what's happening, please. Please, please.
It was like I was stepping back into time.
What seems to be happening is that he is almost picking up on the vibration of something that's happened in the past. He's transmitting and receiving vibrations in the same way that when you put a needle on a phonograph, it actually will replay an event.
Please tell me what's happening, please.
I said, tell me what's happening. Tell me, please, tell me what's happening.
We all dead, Ron, don't you know?
Oh my God. Oh.
He said, we're all dead.
We all dead, Ron, don't you know?
We're all dead. When he said that, I thought I was dead too, and that scared the living hell out of me. I just took off. I didn't give it a second thought. I got out of that place real fast.
Strangely, the door to Ron's salon is locked,
I was panicking and trying to get the hell out at the same time, but nothing was opening. I can't get out. I can't get out.
You're all dead, Ron, don't you know?
There was a force that took and shoved me against the wall.
Oh my God, no. Oh, please just leave me alone, please, please.
I looked up, then these bodies started coming right out at me.
Oh my God.
I was petrified, totally petrified of what I'd seen and heard. All this time, I've been working in a morgue, and the sounds I was hearing and the things I was seeing were people at one time that were there. I made coffee and that was it. That whole night, I stayed up until daybreak.
The next morning, Ron decides to look through hospital archives, searching for answers.
In 1917, the boiler broke down and the patients froze to death. There was no heat. 20-something patients died, other ones suffered frostbite. When I read the article dating back then I put two and two together and realized that's what I seen. And these are the people who were there who died at that time. After that, it became too much for me, and I decided to pack it in and quit. Find another job, and I left the hospital for good. I went back recently in December for a funeral within the area. And my wife said to me, "Oh, you need to stop by where the hospital used to be?" I said, "No."
Inside the walls of a 100-year-old hospital, newly recruited nursing assistant Erin Minyard is thrilled to be fulfilling a dream that began as a child.
Hello.
When I was 5 years old, got diagnosed with a disease that attacks your central nervous system. I was barely able to walk. I had a nurse. Her name was Erin. To this day, I still remember her. She was amazing. And I actually went through nursing school with the stethoscope that she gave me when I left the hospital. That really shaped a lot of how I wanted to be as a nurse. From then, I just wanted to take care of people. It's just something that is either your calling or it's not, honestly. It's something you have to give your all to or nothing. The hospital that I was at catered to both pediatric and adult patients and had been a hospital for a long time. It's been in the area for a long time.
But on day 3 of her new career, the rookie RNA's training would be tested.
Once upon a time, there was a prince, and he lived in a beautiful kingdom. And this prince had a pet skunk.
One of the things that we had to do is kids that were special needs, they would need what they called a sitter.
This skunk was the color blue.
You sat with them, made sure their needs were met the best that you could, He was with it mentally, but physically, he had limitations. He couldn't get out of bed by himself. You know, he could barely roll over without any kind of help.
And it smelled of roses and daisies and all kinds of wonderful scents.
All of a sudden, I could hear somebody stomping. It was like somebody was very angry and was in their boots and were just stomping on the floor.
The stomping seems to be coming from inside a nearby patient room.
Nursing assistant, is everything okay?
And I'm getting no response, but I can still hear the stomping. It gives you the impression that this person's upset. Of course, one of the first things you think is, okay, maybe somebody's hiding. Maybe this person's upset and wants to hurt you or wants to have a confrontation of some point.
Suddenly, the room goes silent.
I opened the door and saw that there was nobody in there. The room is clean, the bed's made, there's literally nobody in there. So I okay, maybe I'm just hearing things.
But there's no question about what she hears next.
I hear screaming. It is panicked. It is something that makes your own blood just like curdle because something's not right and it's 20 feet away from you.
Get him away! Get him!
Okay, what's the matter? What?
Get him away! Get him away!
What's the matter?
Ah!
It's okay, it's okay. Just take a breath, it's okay.
Go away!
His face, oh God. His face was absolute terror. He's just staring. It's like he was transfixed.
Ah! Go away! Get him away! Go away! Ah! Get him away!
And at that point, that's when the tray table just slid right across the room. And that's a good 10 feet it went.
Go away!
This wasn't like it rolled a couple of inches and, you know, scared me. No, this went across the room.
There's nobody.
It's almost like when somebody gets upset and they want to make a point, and so they shove things. You know, they might shove paperwork off the table. It just was that kind of motion.
It's okay, it's okay.
Get him away!
It's okay. Is everything okay?
Get him away! Make him go away!
I was terrified. I absolutely was terrified.
It's okay.
But as Erin attempts to comfort the boy, she sees something that's even more terrifying.
That's when he just told me, I had this dream, this man had a stick and was hitting me, and it made my back hurt, and then my skin was gone. This was not something that could be explained away, so what's going on to cause these incidents to happen? I was scared enough that I sat there and stared at this kid to make sure, you know, that everything was going to be okay.
By the next day, the boy is feeling much better and is discharged.
At that time, I was really hoping that whatever this was had had its fun and moved on, but from that point, things really did get worse.
On Erin's next shift,
All right, put your vest on now.
a new patient has been assigned to room 668.
Yep, just like that.
He was a cystic fibrosis patient.
Do you have the IV? And 2, there we go. Okay.
Basically what it is, you get to a point where you cannot stop making phlegm and it just floods your lungs. So sometimes people will have a flare-up. They might need to come in and get therapies.
There you go, it's not too tight.
One of the things that they use is a vest that vibrates, and it basically loosens all the phlegm so they can expel it, which helps them breathe better.
Just breathe normally. There you go. Good.
So this young man, his lungs aren't functioning the way they should. And of course, if you're not getting the oxygen you need, you tire very, very quickly.
Part of the teen's therapy involves daily exercise.
He's walking around, he's in a great mood. He's just happy to be alive. He's happy that, you know, he's able to get up and move around for the first time in a couple of days. I looked down the hall and I saw somebody walking with him. The first thing I thought is it's his brother, dad, somebody that's with him. I saw a black shadow person right behind him. It reaches right into where his spine was, to where like his lower lobes of his lungs would be. At this point, I am nauseous because I am so scared.
Hello.
For rookie nursing assistant Erin Minyard, working at a hospital is a childhood dream come true. Until her patients are attacked by a terrifying entity.
At this point, I am nauseous because I am so scared. It was like a horrible nightmare. It almost felt like I was running through mud trying to get to him.
Stop it!
Then all of a sudden, it was gone. It was just gone. It was like when you think you see something and blink and it's gone.
It's okay, take a deep breath.
I get running up to him, hey, are you okay? And he kind of looked at me and he gave me this real weak smile and he goes, I'm just really tired all of a sudden.
Okay, you're okay. You're okay.
It's a very scary situation to see something like that. And it's even more scary and more frustrating to be the only person that witnessed what happened. I just had this overwhelming feeling that I did not want to leave him alone. I felt like if I left him alone, something even more horrible was going to happen to him. And at this point, he can't catch his breath.
An entity might, over time, siphon the life force, the energy off another living being, Just as there is bullying and tormenting in our physical dimension, it's the same case in the spirit world. Perhaps a spirit sees us living these lives, and they're very angry that they no longer have bodies, and they want to inflict pain and harm to others as a result of that jealousy.
A short time after all these things had happened, he did end up passing away in that room.
But, as Erin discovers, it's not just the patients that are at risk.
Shortly after the incident with this patient, I ended up having to have my gallbladder removed, so I was out of work for about 2.5 weeks.
Taking little time to recover, Erin gets right back to work.
I was at this point on light duty, so I couldn't lift anything over 25 pounds, but I was still able to carry out most of the basic necessities of my job. I'm scared telling the story. You know, it takes you back when you have to go back to things like this and remember what it was like at that time.
Erin's duties take her back to room 668.
Hey, can you keep an eye on him? I'll be right back. Sure.
We had a patient at the time that was on an ECMO machine. If you've had a horrible trauma happen, it's basically your heart and your kidneys outside your body. It cleanses your blood, it keeps your blood oxygenated. It's basically a last resource for a lot of people to make sure you're gonna survive whatever has come. I start to hear footsteps around his bed.
Hearing footsteps when there's no one around to make them is very foreboding. It's definitely a warning. We can hear something coming, and it's setting off our fight or flight, a chain of fear. It's a way for a spirit to perhaps intimidate us, but more likely to also warn us.
But the footsteps suddenly disappear.
All of a sudden, something poked me in one of my surgical sites. I had 3 or 4 different areas where they had gone in to get my gallbladder out. Whatever this thing was, decided to poke me in the one that was the one that you shouldn't mess with. I'm scared, I'm angry, I'm confused. Also, all I know is I'm in pain.
This spirit is most likely showing Erin that it recognizes that she has a wound and is also possibly suggesting that it can create more. It's warning her to back off, not to toy with it.
What's going on? Oh my God! Are you okay?
He's in there, and I...
Who's in there?
He poked me, and
God, you're bleeding. What was that? Oh my God, are you okay? What's happening?
The machine starts blaring. This is a patient who is on this machine, and their blood is going everywhere. They are literally bleeding to death in front of me. It is a scene out of a horror movie.
He's not responding.
Something pulled that tube.
Since starting her new job, rookie nursing assistant Erin Minyard and her patients have been at the mercy of a malicious, violent entity. And now, it appears to have sabotaged a machine that is keeping a critically ill patient alive.
Every precaution is put in to make sure that this tube does not move. So for it to just spontaneously pull is very, very, very rare, if not impossible. Something pulled that tube. Something pulled that tube.
This is a very common phenomenon. You know, machines are run by electricity, and you have these beings that are in the realm of spirit. They're made up of energy, so it's very easy for them to manipulate electrical devices.
What's going on? Leave! Who are you talking to? He's not responding. I have no vitals.
Okay. I am a mess. I am crying. I am not knowing what to do, and now somebody might die.
Miraculously, Aaron and the other nurse are able to stabilize the patient who survives the ordeal.
The patient ended up being okay, but that was beyond terrifying. Beyond terrifying.
Erin is deeply scarred by the event. She begins to worry that the malicious entity is attached to her.
It made me very, very scared, and I didn't go back to work for a good week. I was terrified because at this point I'm believing, okay, maybe it's not something that's in the building, maybe it's something with me that's trying to hurt these people. And why does it want to do that when all I want to do is just go to school and help people?
But upon returning to work, Erin confides in a coworker and learns that the hospital has a dark history with the paranormal.
You're not the only one creeped out. This place is so crazy haunted. I've been sitting at the desk and all I hear is footsteps coming up the hallway. They're just stomping down the hallway at us.
I was in for a shock when everybody's had experiences and everybody's had things happen.
I don't know, I just feel like something bad, like bad energy or something.
I wouldn't be surprised. This building is so old. Honestly, it's probably about 100 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the old employees or something.
Her colleagues believe the hospital is haunted by the spirit of a cruel male nurse, rumored to have harmed patients.
Even the most hardcore of, I don't believe this, there's no way that this could ever happen, had to step back and say, I can't explain it.
I just think some people are born evil.
The medical field is like most professions. Most people that get into it do it because they want to help people. There's also people who get into it because they want to learn skills to hurt people. This was somebody who'd been there before and stayed behind to keep hurting.
Soon after, Erin completes her studies and becomes a licensed nurse, but transfers to another hospital.
In a way, I am happy that I left the hospital because I got away from feeling that evil and watching it hurt other people and not being able to help. But at the same time, I miss, the people I worked with. I miss my patients. There were a couple of nurses, that I'm still in contact with, and they said after I left that there were a couple other incidences where, they thought they saw something or they heard something.
Go away!
I just hope they bring somebody in to clear out whatever energy's in there, because that thing in life, he wanted to hurt people, and now he's, on a different plane and can do it. And there's nobody really to stop him. People don't know how.